Welcome back. This is Excel 10 minutes, 10-minute leaders live. And really, this is about showcasing the lives and journeys in a very short time of people from different walks of life, technology, business, society, leadership in its different forms, not in traditional sense. And one of the things we know about leaders is they are all on a journey. So I feel that we're going to experience a little bit of a journey today. Joining us in the studio, all the way from San Diego, Kawan Karadaghi. Kawan, welcome to the show.
Graham, thank you so much for having me on. It's my honor.
So we've got 10 minutes together. We're going to learn a little bit about your journey. I don't think 10 minutes is going to do it justice, but we'll do our best. So Kawan, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do
Let's
it.
do this. All right. So first question, what's on your business card, Kawan?
So on my business card is right now technically an owner. So that's what we put on there.
Owner of what?
Yeah. So I basically own my business partners and I own three Anytime Fitness gym franchises. So we're moving on to number 4 and 5 and expanding this year. So owner of the Anytime Fitness franchise, independent owners there.
Fantastic. How big are these franchises? What's the size of the gym?
So the size of the typical Anytime is usually ranging around 5 to 7,000 square foot. So they're 24/7 facilities. So we're really kind of hands-on with the members, just giving them, that extra touch and extra care as far as going the extra mile to be supportive of them and help them and their journey and to bring them results, which is what we kind of really take pride in.
So let's talk about journeys because, firstly, your name, Kawan Karadaghi. Now,
Yes,
we were
sir.
just chatting off air about that. Where is that from?
Okay, so that name is actually Kurdish, right? So my mom and dad and everyone in the family is obviously it is Kurdish there. So Kurdish people are scattered around, all over the Middle East, all over the world, and we don't really have our own country, but per se, but we're predominantly, in northern Iraq, Iran, and all these areas there. So I was born in Bucharest, Romania, raised in France, and then moved to the States when I was very young. So I never got to experience living there quite in the Middle East, but I am fluent in Kurdish, so there is that plus there as well.
Fantastic. What a journey. Heading west and now in San Diego.
That's right.
Do you find, for example, in your friends, entrepreneurs as well, there seems to be a high proportion of people who've come from different places, immigrant entrepreneurs?
Absolutely, yeah. I think all entrepreneurs per se just have a unique journey to them. I don't think, a lot of them obviously have schooling as well, and each person's path is so different and unique. I definitely think that there's some, people that have unorthodox journeys, right? And
Mm,
it's a fascinating thing because it all happens for a reason. You go through these things or your own personal journey to experience what you experience and to bring value to your business or what you're doing, and no one can really tell that story for you except for yourself, right? So
mm,
I value people's background and stories because they have different perspectives and insights that they can provide.
mm. Do you think you have a superpower in the sense that you see something others don't because of your journey, because of your background?
Yeah, so it's a great question. My superpower is I've taken a lot of personality tests, and I've always found within me that the recurring theme is one that I live my life by, and it's just the constant, improvement, continuous
Mm,
improvement. That's kind of the thing that I every day I strive to do the daily habits or routines that help me optimize my performance and those around me. So anytime, I don't know, I started out when I was training, I would look at someone or a body or physique, and I immediately knew after I gathered enough information what I could do to just optimize this individual. And for me, it's just wired in me. I don't know what it is, but I see things that way. And sometimes I have to turn it off just so I can, live my life and accept things for the way they are. Right. So
mm.
it's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
If I was to spend a day with you, just shadowing you, following you around, seeing you optimizing as you go, what would surprise me most about being with you for a day?
Man, well, probably the beginning of the day will be a little boring because I read a lot in the morning. So I get up, I do my reading, I do my meditation. What would surprise you, I guess, would be the amount of different things that happen on a daily basis, right? So it all starts off very quiet. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm up, I'm doing my stuff. And then, by the time 7:30 or 8 o'clock rolls around, I've already worked out and everything. And then it's just one thing after another, right? So it's right around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, things start popping up. Okay, we got to make these decisions. We got to do these things. And as a business owner, and I'm sure you're familiar, it never really stops, right? You're constantly going. So I'd say the amount of pop-ups that happen and the surprises of business, which is an adventure, and you just have to sort of just buckle up and take the ride. And sometimes there's ups, and most of the time there's ups, and then there's some downs too.
Mm. Well, imagine for you, especially in your business, the last year and a half have been a real challenge because we're seeing, well, I mean, a lot of businesses have been really hit hard, but any business that relies on physical presence as well, you're talking about the pop-ups, the ups and downs. How have you managed? What has changed for you, and also how have you dealt with it?
No, Graham, great question. It's really your humans and business in general is their ability to stay flexible, be able to adapt, and just be formless in the sake of your psychology and philosophy behind things that happen. So, being from a training background, you're taught to follow systems and be rigid, sort of in your procedural thinking, right? But in business, it's kind of the opposite. So we've changed by just constantly adapting and staying ahead of decisions. And I think one of the ways that I've read recently was looking where the puck is going to go, right? And in hockey, you're looking at the puck all the time, and we're trying to always think ahead. What's next? What's going to happen? And how do we stay ahead of this, right? So when the pandemic hit, one of the biggest things was we had a shutdown, which we were forced to. Then we had a reopening and a re-shutdown. So with the re-shutdown, we said, okay, well, we don't want to shut down again. What do we do? So we said, okay, we got to build an outdoor gym. So we went from zero to outdoor gym overnight. And that whole process just takes immense discipline, flexibility, and adaptation.
An outdoor gym. I'm surprised we don't have more of those anyway. What was such a big deal about building an outdoor gym?
Oh man, from getting the equipment to conceptualizing the whole thing,
Mm.
right? So you have to okay, you have to design this in your imagination, right? So how do I do this out here? With the clock ticking, because the government would announce, hey, you have 48 hours to shut down. So we said, in order to stay open, we got to build this now.
Mm.
So we you got to conceptualize, you got to gather the equipment, use your resources, and in business, the one X factor that cannot ever stop is you. You have to power everything. You have to, and if you're delegating, you have to oversee it. So you're literally the person that's at the forefront, just taking it all on. And
Mm.
the growth that's involved in that, Graham, is just it's priceless.
Oh, wow, I bet. And does this have to be an all-weather gym? Does it have to?
So
Because I
it's funny
imagine that's
you
quite a.
ask. Yeah, so in San Diego, obviously, there's we're lucky, but we did get hit with a few storms, and it took out parts of it, and that was another learning experience in and of itself. So we had to make a 10 and rebuild it, and it was definitely a project. So yeah, to answer your question, we did weatherproof it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, then. So, in the last couple of minutes, what I'm going to ask you, Kawan, is I'm going to invite you to do a TED talk. So, you're on stage doing a TED talk, and I believe TED talks are either 12 or 18 minutes long. So, you have any subject you want to talk about. But what would your TED talk be about, given everything you've shared with us today? It's not necessarily going to be about all-weather gyms, I'm sure. There's a bigger story there. What would you talk about if you were invited to TED?
I'm going to talk about the one thing that I know that would hit me in the heart, that it always does, is that if you truly want something, with daily effort and daily work, you can achieve what you want. So, and the reason I say effort is because you can, if you put the work in, right? So if there's something you truly wanted to achieve, whether it's a business, whether it's someone that you like or you want to approach, or acing that test, it's really up to you. It falls back on you, and taking accountability and ownership of your life, and saying, if it's up to be, it's up to me. And and just rolling your sleeves up and using your discipline, your resources, and being open-minded to be a learner for the rest of your life, and to open and to approach things with that open mind. So if I was to say one thing, it's, if you want to change your life, as I've read, you'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret to your success lies in your daily routine.
Kawan Karadaghi, everybody. What good advice to end on as well. Self-mastery, fitness, entrepreneurship. Where do we find out more about yourself, Kawan?
Thanks, Graham. So you can find me on the Valueverse podcast on all platforms, www.thevalueverse.com. And I'm very active on Instagram. And that's at Valueverse.
Excellent. Hey everybody, that was Kawan Karadaghi. Go and check out his Instagram and also the podcast. Really enjoyed having you on the show today. Thanks a lot, Kawan.
Graham, it's been a pleasure, and it's one of the best interviews I've ever had. Thank you for having me on.